There you are. Yo. Pardon? Yeah, I can. Yeah, good, thanks. Suzuka was chaotic.
Was it now? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, my stream
in a good way or a bad way?
Formation. Both.
Oh, sorry, what? Oh, okay.
So basically, my stream lagged out in the formation lap, so I had to redo the stream.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so I just separated into 2 bits, qualifying and race. Like,
gotcha, I see.
Yeah. Just saying, is my mic alright? Because I had some problems in my other league I was commentating.
Gotcha, okay.
Because it's just crackling, apparently. My mic.
Oh, it seems to be fine.
I mean, that's what my friends have been telling me, so... Need one more person, I think.
Yep. And then I think we'll start our streams. I saw you have your stream up, so,
Yes,
that's good, okay.
Yeah, we need an Aston Martin. Let me check who it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think your mic is a little bit glitchy. I heard a little bit of, like, crackling there for a moment.
Yeah.
Can you maybe adjust, like, the microphone? Maybe that would help? I'm not sure.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. It should be okay. You know, we'll see how it goes. Oh, I gotta
Deathwish is supposed to join.
Oh, Deathwish. Okay.
Bruno just went to see Aston Martin.
Okay.
Then that means Jake Saber needs to join.
I'm gonna get the WCR stream ready to go.
Yeah, then we can just... Yep, we've got everyone.
I got a special intro lined up for this one. Since it's Texas, and since it's my home Grand Prix, I'm gonna do a slight Texan accent just for the start of it.
I mean, you do... I mean, California is pretty close to Texas.
In a way, yeah, it is. And we're pretty similar in terms of, like, just culture and stuff like that, to be honest. I guess it just really depends, really. But, like, yeah, we are pretty close. And I got family in Texas, too, so, I mean, I kind of just...
Let's see.
Okay,
sorry to interrupt, by the way.
The what?
Is it like a couple of hours, like 1 or 2?
Sorry, what did you say? I think you broke up a little bit there.
Isn't it like 1 or 2 hours away from California to Texas?
No, it's pretty far. It's like I don't. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, Google, how long does it take to get to Austin, Texas? It's a day.
A day?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. You live in the same nation.
Yeah. I mean, California is as big as France, so it's pretty big. I mean, in terms of size. Like, wow. I've never been to LA before because it's like 8 hours away from me, so it's quite.
Yeah, because you're in San Francisco, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm in Białystok, in Poland.
Oh, nice. Is there like a famous city nearby that maybe I'd recognize?
It's like I think like 2 or 1 hour away. Warsaw, the capital city.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know where Warsaw is, of course.
I don't know how close Krakow is. Krakow. Trasa.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope I don't destroy this intro that I'm about to do.
To Krakow, it's like 5 hours away.
Oh, okay.
Warszawa. And then to Warsaw it's 2 hours.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I'm also close to one of the cities in Belarus.
Oh, okay.
It's Grodno.
Oh, nice.
Used to be Polish, then Belarus grabbed it. Sad
Oh,
times.
gotcha.
Right, some drivers are out on track. Should I get commentating or should we do like the...
Let's just wait a minute. I'm gonna start the stream now. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm already streaming.
Okay. So yeah, once the WCR stream is up and running, I'll start the intro and then I introduce you. You know, we go through our normal format.
As usual.
Perfect. All right, let's have some fun. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm just gonna mute my mic, by the way.
Same. Or should I just commentate?
If you can, just mute your mic.
Okay.
Might get a little confusing if we both commentate before the stream kind of gets underway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Just FYI, I think your mic's glitching a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. It should be fine now. It sounds good.
Where was it?
I think it's still doing that glitching.
Yeah, I need to sort something.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll mute my mic.
Okay.
I think that made it worse, but I don't know.
Okay. It kind of sounds like it's still glitching, but not sure.
Okay.
Oh no, it's still happening.
Damn.
Try muting your mic, maybe until like maybe you can mess around with it.
I done it so I like unplug in then plug in again. How about now?
Yeah, it sounds great to me.
There we go. So there was just some dust in my microphone cable. Maybe, I don't know. How about now? Is it all right now?
Yeah, it works out.
Okay, so it's just some dust in my mic plug-in thing. Ugh. And also I do feel a bit sick because I do have a sore throat, so I won't be commentating as much. Trying to save as much as I can. Jesus. Need to get comfortable in my bed.
All right, viewers, just give us 1 second. We're going to get all the links out, and then we'll start the commentary. Just give us 1 minute here.
Maybe it's my internet. My internet hasn't been the greatest today.
It's okay. Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome to the United States and welcome to Texas. We're here in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas, the Lone Star State, of course, for the WCR Round 18 race here in the Diamond class. So, welcome, everyone. Howdy, y'all, as we say it here in Texas. So, let's get the United States Grand Prix underway. So as I did mention, we're here in Austin, Texas, over in the Circuit of the Americas, Cota for short, and let's talk about the track information itself and, of course, where we are. So we're here in the capital of Texas, the Lone Star State, as I did mention, and Austin is one of the most famous cities in the United States alongside other famous cities like San Francisco, New York, and Chicago. In terms of the track, we got 20 turns to make up a circuit length of 5.5 kilometers, that's 3.4 miles long, and there's also 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking for around here 1 in between turn 20 and turn 1, and that's going to be the best place to make an overtake, which will be down into the heavy braking zone at turn 1 up the hill, which is a huge elevation up to the first turn. And then, of course, there's also another DRS zone down into turn 12, another heavy braking zone, and that's a longer DRS straight, so we could see a lot more overtakes at that particular section. So, let's get the Grand Prix underway. As I did mention, we're here with World Championship Racing. This is round 18 of the Season 5 Championship event in Diamond class. Just a few rounds remain, and today we head to the States, and of course, to the United States Grand Prix here in Austin, Texas, for the Texas Grand Prix. So let's get this race underway by first introducing the comms team today. It's myself, Formula Jonah, and joining me once again in the commentary booth is Dsna Gaming. Welcome back to the comms booth, my friend. How are you doing, and what are you looking forward to most in this Grand Prix?
So currently, I will be expecting some good laps put in, especially from Michael just now. Overall, I'm just hoping for a clean race and hopefully not as much safety cars, because this is a pretty long track and there will be less laps than usual, but sometimes there can be safety cars, and especially when you're talking about the Sector 2 DRS straight. So I believe that was from turn 12 down to turn 12. There is lots more overtakes there. I've seen lots more overtakes than the start-finish straight DRS. So I think there'll be more overtakes there.
Yes, I have to agree with you there. I think it's going to be a great race. I think we're going to get a lot of action out on track. So much is going to be happening in this Grand Prix, with the title fight also going down with just a few races to go. It's going to be a really, really exciting Grand Prix. You mentioned there's a few places to overtake. There definitely is. And I think we're going to get a very interesting race in terms of overtaking, because we got so many places to overtake in terms of the straights, but we also have a lot of places to overtake in terms of the corners as well. You got the turn 11 turn down into the heavy braking zone at turn 11 right before that DRS straight. And then pretty much through the entire third sector, we have overtaking opportunities. You got that really, really long right-hander, and I do believe it is turn 17, right where that long tower is, the high tower, of course. There it is in your back shot there of your screen right now. But yeah, there's a lot of places to overtake. A very exciting race is we're going to be looking forward to. So we are in Q1. We have 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining of the qualifying session here today. Lights to set a fastest lap of this qualifying, a 131.6, so great to see that as well. And before we get underway with the commentary, we have a few things to say. So first up, I wanted to mention that you guys, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary booth, or in the live stream, of course, watching us commentate on today's race. Hope you guys will enjoy the commentary, and if you are already enjoying it, smash the like button. Also, subscribe to see more content on this league. Of course, we got Diamond Class, and there's going to be a few more content coming out on other tiers and stuff like that, I do believe. So we'll find out how that all works out. But yes, do subscribe to see more content on this league. You guys can also check out both of us, our previous or our channels as well. Disa and me both have YouTube channels, so you guys can go check that out as well. Mine is Formula Jonah, and his is Decent Gaming, of course. So, yeah, you guys can go check that out on YouTube. We're also streaming on Decent's YouTube, and we're also streaming on my Twitch channel as well. So you guys can go follow those channels as well. That would be highly appreciated. A few more things that we want to mention as well. One quick in real life news, and it's quite saddening, of course, but we do have to talk about it. Recently, it has been announced that Sir Frank Williams has unfortunately passed away and has left us. It's unfortunate to see that, of course, because he's a legend, a true legend of the sport, and it's incredibly sad to see him leave us, and it's really hard. It's really hard. But we move forward, and he built the Williams team. They still run his name, and that team is extraordinary. Their devotion to the sport is incredible, and his legacy will continue on in Formula One. And yeah, just incredible to see what he has done throughout the sport. He will be dearly missed. But in light of that, a lot of these drivers you'll see will be running Williams styled helmets in, of course, to remember Sir Frank Williams in his time in Formula One, of course, and just as a human being as well. So right now we're riding on board with Lights, who actually has a Williams helmet on right now, and like I mentioned, you'll see a lot of different helmets out on track. Before we continue on with this commentary, Decent, can you maybe give your thoughts, just small thoughts on Sir Frank Williams and what his passing means going forward, you know?
It's just basically, life goes on, and sometimes there is moments that you can be upset due to a death, for example, like to Sir Frank Williams. It will happen to everyone, not just him. Everyone would deserve the same respect that Sir Frank Williams had if they passed away. And overall, it's just a sad moment, and we'll just have to put that beside, but always keep it in our minds and always race for him, because he was one of the people that pretty much was the people that just opened F1 to many fans, because there was many Williams supporters back in the day, like Nigel Mansell, those type of people. And basically, that's what I have to say on that. It happens to everyone. It'll happen to us. It'll happen to you watching. It'll happen to everyone. You're not the only one that you'll feel bad inside.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard going forward, but it is how life goes. You know, we will move on. But yeah, his legacy will continue on in Formula One, and yeah, with Williams, of course. And the one thing that we can do is go racing. He had a team that went racing. You know, his passion was racing, and to honor him, we will continue to do exactly what he was able to do, was race, you know, and all that sort of thing. Get that racing team Williams out there. So we will continue to race in his memory today. So just just wanted to let everyone know about that. So back into the action, guys. We just wanted to quickly mention all of that sort of thing. But back into the action, guys. We want to get back into the race and into the qualifying session. A few things to mention in terms of the racing as well. We got that tight championship fight. We also have expected rain coming in at the end of the qualifying session. That is news that has just been broken to me. So we could be seeing some drops of rain coming in at the end of this qualifying session. Not particularly Q1, but at the end of the full qualifying. So I'm expecting a rain quali in Q3. We don't know exactly the details on when the rain is coming. All we're going to have to do is look at the skies and find out for ourselves. But just wanted to let you guys know about that. And right now, let's get on track and see what's going on. So a few drivers need to be making it out of qualifying. I think Cartboy is down in P20. Needs to be able to set a lap time. Same with Wayne as well in the Alfa Romeo. Both need to set a lap time. A few others need to get themselves out of qualifying. Villeneuve is already out. And Electric Envy just improved to P15, but it might not be enough if Cartboy or someone else does improve on their laps. Just give us all your thoughts, Disna, on these drivers right here that are going to try and get out of quali.
So basically, my opinion on that is they'll push hard. They know they're currently in an elimination zone and it's not a place to be. So they'll need to focus on speed, concentration and focus around these corners. You don't want to spin, especially for Wayne and Cartboy. You do not want to spin in moments like this, or that's just your qualifying ruined. And that's Cartboy in P9, so that's his Q2 secured.
Good for Cartboy. Yep, he's up to P9 with a 132.1. So, like you mentioned, that is him into Q2. Anyone else on a lap that you're seeing that is gonna try into Q2?
No, but all I know is Wayne starting at the back.
I do believe you're correct. Yeah, I do believe that the Alpha will start at the back of the field unless there's disqualification from one driver here today. As he's yet to set a lap time in the pit lane. Unfortunate to see that, of course, but he'll come back stronger, I'm sure, in the race. One driver that does need to make it out of Q2, or Q1, sorry, and into Q2 would be Electric Envy, and I don't think it's going to be Q2 for the Mercedes driver, as I think he just made a little mistake on the exit. Yeah, you can see that he's just going slowly there, so that is Electric Envy's qualifying over, and that is going to be the end of qualifying. Another big name out of qualifying is Mick Dutchface, who grabbed P2 in the previous race in Suzuka. A shocker of a result for him in qualifying, as coming from a huge high in the previous race in Suzuka. It's been a little bit of a disappointment here in quali, but hopefully he'll come back stronger in the race.
Well, I mean, in Suzuka, I believe he did go out in like Q1 or Q2. So he already gets that in mind, that he can come back stronger, and strategy is key here.
Yes, exactly. Strategy is key, and if rain's on the way, possibly in the race, we don't know that information at this time, that could mess around with the strategy as well, maybe allow some of these drivers towards the back of the field to be able to rise through the grid. We will find out how that all works out. And another thing that we have to keep an eye on as well, besides strategy and weather, is that there could be a lot of crashes down at turn 1. It is very tight, and that could promote some of the drivers starting towards the back of the field, like Electric Envy, McDutchface, Villeneuve, or the rest, might promote them to some higher positions. So we'll see how that all works out.
Yeah, hopefully there's not going to be too much chaos, because that's probably going to cause a restart, and we don't want what happened in Singapore when we just got stuck and it had to be an 18-minute quali. So hopefully that does not happen. 100% will give us less time to compensate, and then we can save our breaths, and then it will be hallelujah. So, overall, that's what I have to say on that thing.
Yeah, we'll see how it all works out. I hope we won't get any of those glitches that we had 2 races ago in Singapore. If you guys were unfamiliar with that, what happened is that after Q1, the lobby just like froze and we had to start a new lobby. It was a little bit of chaos in terms of getting the lobby all sorted. It doesn't look like that is the case, though. So we'll see how it all works out. And we'll see what these drivers or how this game is able to process the drivers moving into Q2. I think it should be okay, but we'll find out how that all works out. But this is the results for Q1 of the United States Grand Prix qualifying. Lights had the fastest lap time by 1:10, separating him and Shabby 2K, who sits in second fastest for Mercedes. AMG Petronas Michael in the Alfa Romeo sits P3 with the third fastest time. That is the top three for Q1. And the drivers that are out of qualifying will be the bottom five. And let's take a look at all those guys. It is going to be Wayne, Muffin, Villeneuve, McDutchface, and Electric Envy, all out of the United States Grand Prix qualifying. Then we now head into Q2. So with the timer being all good, we are now underway. We're going to get the Q2 session, so no glitches like we had in Singapore. So now we get into Q2, and this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, viewers, because in Q2, if you guys are unfamiliar with our with the full qualifying format, it is a little confusing at times. That's why I explain it pretty much every single race. In Q2, whatever tire these drivers that qualify on in Q2, they will start the race on. So, for instance, if maybe Lights qualifies in first for Q2, and he starts on and he's on the soft tires, he sets that lap time on the softs, then he will start the race on the soft tires. But for instance, maybe CPI 0 maybe qualifies on the medium compound tires, or actually Michael, who's actually going out on the mediums right now, maybe he qualifies on those medium tires. That is going to be his fastest lap time, and if he makes it into the top 10, he will start the race on the medium compound tires. So hopefully that's all cleared up. Let's get into Q2, and with a lot of drivers out on track, what are you expecting from these drivers here today? Do you expect a lot of people to go on the mediums, softs, and also we got rain underway as well, so these drivers might have to get their laps in pretty quickly?
Yes, that's very true. As this track is starting to bubble up with water, it's going to start to rise the water temperatures and water height, and the amount of water on track. There will be some dry parts, but it currently looks like it's just going to be like rain, dry, rain, dry, rain, dry, because it's just stopped raining. So I think it's just going to be like a bit of track is raining, a bit of it is not, because okay, I think the whole track is, yeah, I think it's time for wets and intermediates now.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're right on the crossover point, and this is going to be crucial for these drivers to set a lap time. If they don't set a lap time, they could be out of Q2. So we could see some drivers that are usually qualifying in the top 5 possibly out of Q2 because of just this weather transformation. We will find out how this all works out. As a lot of drivers, I think all the drivers at the front, particularly, I think Hella High is in the best position right here because he is the first driver to set a lap time. He might be able to be fastest overall in the qualifying sessions. We're seeing drivers spin off. I think that might be the Alfa Romeo of Michael or a McLaren of Stefano Gaming, not exactly sure, but drivers have had a little bit of an issue in terms of driving that car around. It looks like Lights is now coming through turn 1, looking pretty good. Let's take an onboard with the AlphaTauri driver, see exactly what he's doing out on track and see how slippery the car feels. Seems like that it's okay conditions, but the car seems to be sliding just a little bit more than what is comfortable for these drivers out on track. So showing that the rain is coming down, but I think the softs and the mediums are the better tire at this stage. We're already seeing a yellow flag, and that I think is one of the Ferraris. That might be Cartboy, or that might be Larson. Not exactly sure who that exactly is, but Hella High is now coming through turn 12. The rain is getting heavier, and I think he's got to brake just a little bit sooner than expected, just because of how much rain is on track. You can now see puddles starting to come down. This is going to be for these drivers to set a good enough lap time.
Yes, and now, because this is now going to affect the cars and the tyres, it's now going to be harder for them to hold the back end, because Stefano almost spun it there, as I just noticed when I switched onto him. So I think it will be time for intermediates very, very soon, because someone is almost spinning already.
Well, Hella High is the first driver to set a lap time. It's a 1:38.3, not a quick lap time from the Haas driver, but of course, these are different conditions to what they are previously. Clarkey put a 1:38.8, Zero a 1:38.5, Domel in the Alpine put a 1:36.5, 2 seconds quicker than Hella High's lap time. Pelly in the Alpine now puts a P3. Who's next to come across the line? It might be Lights. No, Lights actually set a 1:39.4. Zafano a 1:39.3. This could be them out of qualifying. Gedan a 1:41.1. The times are coming down, guys. The rain has gotten too hard. That might be the end of qualifying already. And as it stands, some of these drivers might get knocked out of qualifying. Lights could be at risk of being knocked out of qualifying. Same thing with Stefano Gaming, Shabby, and Michael. Shabby, Michael, and Lights were the top 3 in Q1. But now in Q2, they're at risk of getting out of Q2. If someone else improves on this lap, Lights could be out of qualifying.
Yes, and that's going to be a big shocker because, he did have a bit of a petty in Japan. He did have a petty in Singapore as well. Will it carry on to Cota again? You never know.
We will find out how this all works out. He's right on the limit of getting out of Q2. I mean, this is coming down to the wire, guys. I mean, I don't think anyone else is going to be improving. So if this is how it is, Lights just about made it in to Q2, and this is kind of like a one-shot qualifying, guys, because I think this is going to be it because the rain is coming down so much now. So these drivers aren't going to be able to improve on the dry tires. I think this is it. I think Domel is going to line up with the fastest time, and there's a Red Bull already spinning off there. I think that is the end of Q2. No one else is going to improve because the rain is just coming down more and more and more, and now it is definitely time for the intermediate compound tires. These drivers will not want to go out again, and so that means Q2 is over. Domel on top, and Lights just about makes it into qualifying 3 with Larson, Cartboy, 8,000 RPM, Gedan, and Crazy Dutchman out of Q2 only 9 minutes into the session. This is crazy stuff.
Why are we ending it that early? Because, everyone's going to just change to the wets, no?
Yeah, but they won't be able to improve. That's the thing. And so it most likely means that these drivers most likely won't be able to improve. Like, look, you're watching all these guys out on track. Their tires are not as good as what they were previously because there's so much rain on track, and of course once you put onto the wet tires you're going to be slower. That's just a fact there. So I mean unless someone pulls out like a mega pace on a different tire like the intermediates and is able to go faster than anyone on the drives, which is possible but it is highly unlikely, I think this might be the grid that goes into Q3.
Now I get it. And also Lawson, or Lasse, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's now just switched to the intermediate, so is Shabby, so is Stefano Gaming, so they're thinking they can set a better lap time. The thing is, Lawson keeps on getting invalidations, so you never know.
Well, I think that they'll probably go out in the intermediates, but I don't think it's going to be for lap time. I think as that is 8,000 RPM spinning, showing that these tires are absolutely done in these conditions. But I think in terms of, there we go, Pally is retiring. I think that we're going to see a few more retiring from this session. I think what's going on is that anyone that comes out on the intermediates is just going to go on for practice. I don't think it's going to be about actually like driving the track to get a better pace, a better time. I think this is all about practice here. So it's effectively turned into a practice lobby at this stage in the Grand Prix. But I think a few drivers out there on track are just retiring. We have already the top 4 retiring from the session. And if things don't change, that is the end of Q2, and we head into Q3 now.
Yes, and also 8,000 RPM did not spin. Basically what he'd done was when he was trying to land into the pits, he couldn't turn enough and he just parked right in front of the wall.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, to be honest, because that corner is very difficult to brake, especially in these conditions on the dry tires. You're going to be aquaplaning everywhere at that corner into heavy braking zone. So makes sense why he was had the yellow flags there, of course, and going slowly at that particular section, as it is a very difficult corner to get right in these very difficult conditions.
Yes, and currently my favourite to win is Giga Kubit, so like, come on.
I have not seen this guy's name before, unless it's someone else that's changed their name on PlayStation. Do you know who Kubica is? Do you think he's a previous driver that's raced?
No, I believe it's the guy who was supposed to be the reserve to fill in the Haas.
Is that squads?
I think it's Ninja, SHR Ninja 25.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then. Because I know Squads has raced for Haas before as a reserve. But that makes sense if it would be Ninja. I haven't seen him raced too often in this league. But I gotta say, I mean, I love that name. Giga Kubica. It's turned into sort of a meme, actually. That's
yeah,
of course
it has,
what the...
actually.
Yeah. It's a really interesting one. But anyway, I think qualifying is going to be ending. I think we're just seeing a few drivers going out on track testing these conditions. Now, if you were one of these drivers, would you maybe change anything on your steering pad here, maybe in terms of differential or front brake bias? You maybe want more brake, maybe different differential. What's your thoughts on that?
There'll be definitely now a change of setups, because I already know many drivers only have a setup for dry, because there's low chance of raining in a place like Texas in USA, because it's usually just a warm, hot climate, not really a rainy, like moisty, like cold climate, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, I mean, it depends, actually, because Texas actually does get pretty cold, especially in the winter. It does get pretty cold in the wintertime, just down to, I mean, it is a very hot state, especially in the summer, but in the winter it does get very cold. It's just kind of random, though. It's a really interesting one. The United States actually is a very difference in terms of weather. Where other countries and stuff like that, they have kind of a same weather in seasons. Like here in California, it's actually hot, which is really weird in December. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. I have to agree with you. I think a lot of drivers probably weren't expecting any rain, just down to Texas not having too much rain. We haven't had too many rain races here in Austin. But yeah, I mean, maybe these drivers maybe. I don't know, maybe they're going to tweak their setups just a little bit. I would, if I were these drivers and I put on a dry setup, and that's usually what I would do, is I put on a dry setup in this case, and then what I do is I would tweak the front brake bias and make that suitable for these conditions. Now, for instance, if you had your brakes maybe on, let's say, 58%? I don't know, 50, like, yeah, something like that, like 58, somewhere around there. Like if you were like 58%, I would turn it down to 50%, because then you're gonna have more brakes. You're gonna have a lot more speed into the corner instead of slowing down quite early. And of course, you're gonna lock those tires if you don't have it on enough brake pressure. So that's just my take on that. That's kind of what I do in these changeable conditions that we have in this particular qualifying session.
Yeah, and these intermediates, I think that's just going to be the grid. Unless Lawson can just tweak his lap a bit better. I mean, he does get 4 tenths quick on his sector 1. Cartboy still needs to seg better lap. I mean, he hasn't even hit the 1 minute. He's only done a 2 minute.
Cartboy might be able to improve probably to go up to where his teammate is. I don't think he's going to be able to improve into the 139s, though. I don't think that's the case. But, I mean, he might be able to go up there. We've seen some amazing performances from Cartboy. So, to the line now, what's his lap going to be? It is going to be a 144.6. So, exactly as we predicted, he joins his teammate on the 7th row of the grid, if I'm not mistaken, for Ferrari. They will start P13 and P14 unless 8,000 RPM is able to go onto a faster lap time. Now, his tires were, I'd say, he was one of the last drivers to set a lap time on the dry compound tires, so he might be able to go quicker on these intermediates, just because those tires are probably sliding quite a bit when he put on the dries, so he might be able to improve.
Yes, but he's starting to get snaps of oversteer as he just left the S's.
Yes, absolutely. I think he is struggling just a little bit in terms of grip and in terms of oversteer out of the corners. It is quite, to be honest, racing in the rain is a very different story. I had a race just yesterday where it was dry to wet, and the thing that I was making sure I was doing was shifting. That was a huge point in my particular experience in terms of shifting. I had to shift up so much earlier. Usually you just shift up second, third, fourth, but I went like second, third, fourth, like in a row in a matter of 0.2 of a second or something like that. That's how close I had to do it, and that's the difference in terms of raining. In the rain races and in the dry races, you're going to be sliding a lot in the wet conditions, and you're going to have to change your shifting, your braking, pretty much everything. It is a whole different type of racing, and to be honest, I absolutely love it. So these drivers are going to be pushing the maximum to try and get a good lap time in these horrendous conditions, to be honest, compared to what we had earlier. Oh, 8,000 just gets a little bit of oversteer on the last corner and messes up a little bit. He cannot improve, and I wonder if he was going to be able to improve, or he just lost too much time in the final corner.
No, he already looked like he's going to muck it up as he's almost spun it again. So he is starting to have a bit of a mare. It might be time for the wets, but I think it's too late now. Yeah, it's way too late with 10 seconds left on the clock. So overall, that's just... whoa!
Oh!
I just had a weird lag spike. Like, he didn't even hit the warm bit and it just randomly popped.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I kind of felt like it was the same situation. He hit the wall, and it seemed like his tire just came off, like, barely. Like, he tapped the wall, and it came off. It's quite interesting, but that is also 8,000's qualifying out. His tire's completely off, so he's crashed out of the session, but I think that's going to be it. I don't see any more improvements from anyone out there on track.
Yay, Giga misses in Q3. Go on!
Yeah, he's made it into Q3, which is great, of course. Oh, and actually, let me quickly get the best tire graphic on screen so we can see exactly who's on what. So, viewers, you can see it now on your screens. Some drivers have opted for the softs, some on the medium compound tires. Now, Zero, Clarky, Michael, Shabby, Stefano, and Lights have all gone on the mediums. Giga Kupika and Pelli, Hella High, and Dummel in the Alpines and the Haas's, actually. Alpines and the Haas's both have decided to go for the soft compound tires. So they've chosen to start on the soft tires, and everyone else in the top 10 will be starting on the medium tire. Qualifying is over. That is the grid. Q3 we now head into, and this is where it's going to be the real showdown. I can't wait for what's going to happen in Q3.
Yes, that's very true. And overall, it's now going to look a bit tasty now that Lice has only just survived by only 0.3 of a second to get to be saying see you to Q3. And same with Shabby and Stefano. And also, you don't really see it as much, but Cartboy, 8,000 RPM, and Crazy Dutchman, those three are out as well.
Yeah, unfortunate to see that, some of those drivers who are out of qualifying that were in contention, I'd say, for at least top 5 or maybe even top 3, maybe even pole position. It's hard to see that, but that's the way it goes. But Dummel in the Alpine starts on the fastest lap of the qualifying session. A very impressive lap time for the Alpine as well, a 1:36 compared to everyone else's that was pretty much in the 1:38s or lower. So pretty impressive lap time from the Alpine. But the rain is back in Q3 now, and to be honest, it doesn't look like it's raining too much. It looks like it was raining more in Q2, but that might just be my perspective.
No, same here. There's less rain. I don't think I can even see rain. And also, I'll be right back. I just need to go to the toilet.
Okay, yeah, so I think the rain is kind of stopped. We'll get a full onboard with one of these drivers and see exactly what the conditions are like out on track. Zero's on the lap, so let's take a look. Oh, it is still raining out on track. Okay, so it's just barely, though. So in this case, this means that the rain is most likely going away, viewers. So that means that we could see some drivers on the drier compounded tires in the next... I don't know, probably at the end of this qualifying session. A few drivers have chosen to start on the they're on the softs right now. Maybe they're waiting till the end to qualifying. We will find out how this works out. I'm assuming some of these drivers will probably go out on the intermediates just to test it out, see what the conditions are like, and then maybe they'll come in at the end of this and see what exactly happens. I think this is going to be a very interesting qualifying session because we're going to get a similar situation to what we had in the Q2, but just kind of reversed. So what we're going to have is drivers on the intermediates. We could see a similar situation to what we had in Q2, but just completely reversed. So we will, as we head into the moments of Q3, 10 minutes left of Q3 to see who starts on pole position for the United States Grand Prix. Before we get that race or this qualifying session underway, and while we're seeing drivers out on laps, I wasn't here for the previous race in Japan, but Disna, you were here. Would you mind maybe giving the viewers just maybe a small summary of what happened in that previous race in Suzuka?
Yes, of course. I did come back, just saying. So basically, it was pretty damp. We all thought it was gonna rain. It did rain a bit, I think, if I remember correctly. It was mostly cloudy, hot, for like 3/4 of the race. There was lots of safety cars. There was lots of crashes, especially into the S's. But that mist just created a big fight with Jamie Morris, Clarkey, and someone else. I forgot who it was. It was Lights. And then Crazy Dutchman started to get into the mix. So currently, it looks like Lights. I'm thinking like Lights and Clarkey might fight. Maybe Zero can get into the mix. Maybe Stefano can. Maybe Shabby will. But all I know is, currently for me, the favourite to win, in my opinion, is between Lights and Clarkey after last race. Maybe even Zero.
Interesting. Okay, so thank you so much for giving a great summary on the Japanese Grand Prix. Yeah, I heard there was an amazing battle between, who was it, Jamie and Lights you mentioned?
And Clarkey.
Oh, and Clarkey. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it hurt. I heard that it was a great race. I'm apologizing to you guys for missing that one on the WCR stream, but yep, family comes, and so I had to go spend time with all that. But yeah. So yeah, great Japanese Grand Prix, as I have heard. Thank you so much for giving a great summary on that. And now we come into the United States Grand Prix with a few drivers setting to try and get a good result in today's race. A few drivers that are looking to win the championship. Of course, Shabby, Zero, and Josh are in that championship fight. Josh is not here today. Also, Lights as well is still in contention for the championship as well, so he's going to be looking to get a good result in today's race as well. What's interesting is that Lights and Michael, Shabby, Clarkey, and Hella High are all on the soft compound tires. Now, do you think this is the best situation for them to go out on the softs or the intermediates?
In my opinion, it is a bit of a risk because the track is starting to dry. As I look on the track, I don't see as much wet as I see dry. So in my opinion, it might be time for the softs very soon. There is still little sprinkles of rain, and also if we look at the standings, we need to talk about Alfa Romeo because none of them were on the standings championship. It's only been the reserves that have been collecting points for Alfa Romeo, currently sitting at 42. And they're not even in the hundreds when the whole top 9 has those points.
Interesting. That is interesting. So that means that the Alpha team needs some good points for their full-time drivers. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because both of them have 0. Wayne's got 0 in last, and Michael in 17th has also got 0. Also, McLaren needs to start to get into the mix once again. Also, King David not participating. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's just disappeared.
Yeah, King David, well, he was in the gold tier, and then he moved into diamond, if I'm not mistaken, replacing one of the McLarens. And I do believe he wasn't able to make the last couple of races, not exactly sure. I'm sure he'll be back, though. So we'll see how that all works out. By the way, going back onto the racing here in Q3, everyone is on the softs. Michael is the first driver to set a lap time on the soft compound tires. Let's see what his lap is going to be. It is going to be a 135.2 for the Alfa Romeo driver next to the line. It's going to be Lights in the AlphaTauri car. He goes a 134.477 for the AlphaTauri driver. Good lap from Lights there. Shabby next to come across the line, but he has an invalid lap time, so he's not going to be improving on that time. I think next driver to come across the line will be Clarky. Zero is about to start a lap, so let's actually take it on board with the Williams driver as he comes down into turn 1. Let's take it on board as he comes down into the heavy braking zone. Elevation is high through the first turn. Now it looks like the dries are the better tire at this stage, so we'll get a great lap from Zero here. Into the S's, one of the most difficult S's in the entire calendar, through turn 2 all the way up until turn 6. You're going to shift down to maybe 5th and 6th. In these conditions, it's a little bit different. Purple sector for Zero in the first sector, looking pretty good through turn 8 and turn 9. That bump on the left, you hit that, your car can slide a little bit. Kind of the same thing would happen with Zero there, but it looks like he controlled it well. So down into turn 11, you want to get your car right in the middle of the curve as you come down into the final heavy braking zone before that long DRS straight. Down to turn 12, DRS enabled, of course, because now we are in these dry conditions. Now a little bit of a turn, it's not considered a turn, but you're going to come down into turn 12. You can choose to go right in the middle of the curve, but you want to make sure you turn that tire in and get right on the curve. You want to place your car right in the middle of that curve coming into turn 12. Now into turn 13, purple sector for Zero as he comes through and flies through turn 13. Now into the heavy braking zone, a really heavy braking zone. You're going to lock the front left tire a lot, then come on the power immediately as you come down into turn 17, 16, 17, 18. That's where Max Verstappen overtook Kimi Raikkonen. Got a penalty back in 2017, though. Into the final two corners we go, turn 19 and turn 20. Don't go too wide. You can get an invalidation pretty easily. Down into turn 20, the final corner, you're going to get a lot of traction issues out of that corner. To the line now, Zero goes on to pole for the United States Grand Prix. It's a 131.741 for the Williams driver as he might be starting a pole. That is provisional pole position for Williams, and that is going to be the time that all the drivers need to chase.
Yes, and also, I've been looking at the general chat, and if I scrolled up all the way to the Japan race, it says here, Light says here, yeah, I think my best shots now will be Cota. So this race, Brazil, Mexico, and Abu Dhabi. Now, I forgot the rest of the calendar, and let's see when Brazil's next. I think Brazil's straight after, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's Mexico straight after, then Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi to finish it off. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are some exciting races coming up. I mean, if you're right, if Lights is going to be flying here today, I mean, he clearly said that he's got the pace to set a good lap time in qualifying of Q3. I mean, we'll find out what happens. So, maybe Lights will be starting on pole position. We will find out, and find out we will. But first off, we gotta ask the question, who will be starting on pole position? Down in the comments below, vote your driver that will be on pole position for this qualifying. You guys can do that by just commenting down below. We'll answer a few of those comments if you can. And speaking of comments, send in a few of them if you guys can. Besides the prediction and scores, if you guys have any questions about this upcoming race, if you guys have any questions for us about maybe the racing, tire strategy, pretty much anything, just ask us down in the comments section below. We'd highly appreciate that, of course, and we will try and answer those comments as soon as possible when we get the moment to do so. But pretty much everyone is going out on track. It looks like Stefano Gaming's about to come out on track, but I think the first driver that's going to set a lap time is most likely going to be Lights, who's in P3 right now. He's coming out of turn 11. He's going to come down to turn 12, trying to weave those tires back and forth, and then he's going to set a decent lap time and possibly could be pole position for the AlphaTauri driver.
Yes, it is very much possible, and you never expect what you can see. And also, Lights can go in and reach a pole position here, unless he does, even if he's got the hump. Because if he gets pole position, that's going to be, I think, his 4th or 3rd pole position in WCR in like 6 or 5 races.
Yes, I do believe so. Yeah, he's been really on form in the couple of last races that we've been commentating on. You know, after taking a break, he came back and absolutely obliterated the competition in terms of pole positions. And, yeah, he's been doing an amazing job throughout the season. I think he's going to try and weave those tires back and forth. He's getting ready to start his lap for today's United States Grand Prix. Now, keep an eye on other drivers as well. We got Shabby right behind Lights as well. I think these guys are going to be the first drivers to set a lap time in the qualifying session. So we'll get lap data on right now and see exactly what this lap is going to be for Lights. So we'll also keep an eye on Shabby, Michael, Stefano Gaming, and of course, since the rain came down earlier on, these times aren't really sufficient for these drivers, so it is going to be really tight for everyone. By the way, Zero doesn't have enough time. That is going to be his lap. And that might not be enough for pole position here. I think someone's going to be able to improve in that. And also, Lights is invalidated. Lights has invalidated that lap. That's it for the AlphaTauri driver. He's not going to be on pole because he's invalidated that.
That is very unlucky. And I was actually about to record a full lap rundown on Lights' lap. And Domel goes fastest.
Domel, wow, that was a great lap from the Alpine. A 131.7, and this could be pole position for the Alpine driver. He took fastest time in Q2. He had a brilliant pace compared to everyone else. Could this be pole position for the Alpine driver? But next up is going to be Giga Kubica as he's coming around turn 17. Let's see what his lap is going to be.
Come on, Giga Kubica, you've got this. As he goes into turn 19. Around the final corner, he's going to speed down that straight. It's going to be looking like a 131.7. He gets P3, pushing down Stefano Gaming. And he's got an invalidated lap time, so it will be, I think, Giga Kubica and P3.
And also, big news is Pelly goes P1. Pelly with a 131.4 impressive lap time. But can Clarkey improve on that time? He goes P2. It's not enough for the Red Bull driver as Michael goes pole. A 131.1. What about Stefano Gaming? He is going into the pit lane. So the Alfa Romeo driver, who doesn't have any points this season, will start on pole position for the United States Grand Prix. It is his first pole this season. Congrats to the Alfa Romeo driver. Congrats to Pelly as well on the front row for Alpine. What a great result for him as well. Clarkey P3. And in other news, Lights and Shabby both invalidated. They'll start 9th and 10th. Not the best of qualifying sessions for them in today's session, but I gotta say, what an intense qualifying session to end off the United States Grand Prix. Michael on pole here in the US.
Yes, and that is very, very amazing. And now, all Alpine needs is now a good race. Because currently, it looks like Alpine was going to get a 1-2 until Michael and Clarkey popped in. If Alpine got that 1-2, that would have slotted them nicely with the battle for P5 in the championship, constructors-wise, with AlphaTauri, because they're both tied on points. And also, Ferrari needs a good spell of a race, because they're both in Q2 down there. And they're 26 points behind Mercedes. If both Mercedes drivers don't get points, and then the Ferrari drivers get into top 4 or something, they'll probably be in second place in the championship, and that's what you like to call race side by side action.
Definitely. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll see how this all works out. It's all about the race now. Of course, qualifying was something, but now those points are going to matter. Of course, for that championship that you just mentioned between all these drivers, I mean, it's going to be really close. They need points for their teams. They need points for their position in the championship as well. It's going to be a mighty close one to round off the United States Grand Prix. So if qualifying was exciting for you guys here, I'm sure the race will be even more exciting as we head into the loading screen for the United States Grand Prix.
Yes, and this is going to be an exciting race. I can feel it. I can feel it in my veins that it's going to be a chaotic race. Hopefully not as much crashes. But currently it looks like we're gonna miss the. We're gonna start, I think, 9 o'clock GMT sharp, also known as 10 o'clock in Poland. And I don't know what the time it is for you, but as we get the formulation lap underway, it will be Michael setting off in the 5 red lights. Pelly going slowly, pretty strange.
Well, yeah, Michael will be starting off the formation lap. Pelly in the Alpine will be P2. I gotta say, what an incredible Alpines have done. P2 and P4, it's been a brilliant qualifying for them. But can they continue their performances in the Grand Prix? We will find out. But let's quickly do the rundown of the grid. Michael in the Alfa Romeo will start on pole position for today's race. As we did mention, a brilliant job by the Alfa Romeo driver. Hopefully he'll be able to score some good points and put some good points for the Alfa Romeo team. As you mentioned, Alfa Romeo don't have a lot of points in this season, but hopefully they'll get some decent points with Michael. Pelli, the Alpine, lines up alongside Michael on the front row of the grid. Great to see him up there as well. Clarkey in the Red Bull starts P3 alongside Domel in the second Alpine starting P4 with CPI 0, only setting a good enough lap time for P5. I think if he made the line, might have been up there. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the line on time. He's got Giga Kubica in the Haas alongside the Williams driver starting P6. Stefano Gaming in the McLaren starts alongside Hella High on the fourth row of the grid. And then this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Lights and Shabby down in P9 and P10. They're going to be making a recovery drive in today's race that I think we could have seen a really, really interesting fight for these two going through the field. Crazy Dutchman in the McLaren lines up P11 alongside Gadan in the AlphaTauri. Lassie Larson in the Ferrari lines up alongside his teammate Cartboy on the 7th row of the grid. 8,000 RPM is alongside Electric Envy in the Mercedes with Mick Dutchface and Villeneuve, the two Aston Martins starting P17 and P18. And we got Muffin and Wayne rounding off the grid for Red Bull and Alfa Romeo respectively. So one Alpha at the back, one Alpha at the front. We will find out if Michael will be able to lead down into turn 1, but we're here in the Lone Star State. Welcome to Austin, Texas, guys. We're here and we're ready to go for the United States Grand Prix. I know I did a little bit of a Texan accent there. It's probably not very good, but I tried my best. But anyway, let's get this race underway here for the United States Grand Prix. Thank you all for joining us. And yeah, before we get this race underway, D-Sned, do you have any more thoughts on before we get on to this race?
Yes, and also I think, is it okay I can like take the race start if this game actually concentrates and gives me the 5 red lights to look at? Bloody hell.
Yeah, of course, go right ahead.
Why is it showing my wing? I don't want to see Michael's front wing. I want to see the lights. Come on. Why, broadcast cam? Why do you have to let me down?
It should be set after a while. I think once the grid is formed, and it's going to be formed now, so take it away. 1
light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are underway here for the American Grand Prix. It's a pretty overall decent start from Pelli there. He goes up into P1. His teammate following right behind, going side by side with Michael going into the first corner. Michael going wide. That's already going to give him a warning. And now he's already needs to be careful on his track limits, and that's Electric Envy. What's happened to him on the straight? Has he forgot to start? No.
I don't know.
What's happened to him?
I have no idea, but Electric Envy, yes, stopped, and he's been disqualified from the session. Not exactly sure what happened to the Mercedes driver, but that is him out of today's session. But dramatic start here today at the United States Grand Prix. It is now an Alpine 1-2. Giga Kubica is up to 3rd place. Yes! Michael down in P4. This has been a mad start for the drivers here today, especially Alpine, who are now 1-2 in today's race. It's been a difficult start for Lights as well, down to P12 in today's race, as we have the Ferrari of Cartboy trying to go down the inside on Gadan. There he goes, down into turn 12 he goes. Cartboy gonna send it on the AlphaTauri for 10th place in today's race so far. They're side by side coming out of turn 12 we go into turn 13. Who's gonna get ahead? Is it Gadan or is it Cartboy? It is Gadan that gets ahead, but is Cartboy gonna try and make the move? Going down the inside of the AlphaTauri, he's gonna send it it, and he's gonna make the move, and that was a brilliant move from Cartboy, but Dan is not getting this place up anytime soon. He's gonna go side by side with the Ferrari. Coming down into turn 17 we go. The Ferrari is still side by side. Coming down into 19, they're going side by side, and it looks like Dan will stay ahead. Now 8,000 RPM is looking for the move as well, but I gotta say, it's not been the best start for Lights, who's down at P13, and now he's got McDutchface right behind the AlphaTauri. It's not been the best start for him, but it is Pelly that leads us away out of turn 1. Domel in the Alpine sits P2, his teammate in P2. The Alpines lead us away for the United States Grand Prix with Giga Kubica in P3 and Michael in P4. Clarky rounding off the top 5 for Red Bull.
Yes, and it was a pretty exciting start there, as we both commentated there. Overall, it's currently going to look like something needs to be pulled out of the hat in the middle, like Shabby, Stefano Gaming, and that's Clarky! What's happened to him?
Oh no!
He spun it! He has spun it. That's very unlucky for him, as Crazy Dutchman is now going to try and catch up to him and try and possibly make a move. But currently it's just going to be a 5-second gap, I think, 4 seconds. As Wayne pitted early, do you think that's a strategy kind of thing, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's mostly because of wing damage. Not exactly sure, though. It kind of looks like wing damage, possibly. Not entirely sure, though. Also, we have a nice little move between Lights and Larson here for P13 in today's race. Lights trying to get the position on the Ferrari. Round the outside goes the AlphaTauri. The Ferrari looks to keep ahead, but Lights going for the switchback maneuver. He cannot get past Lights, down to P14 in today's race. He has to make this move on Larson as fast as possible. McDutchface right there as well. I wonder if these mediums they're just not working out, because Michael's having a similar situation. Same with Zero, I gotta say. They're falling back a little bit. I think the soft tires are just absolutely a brilliant tire right now, and these mediums just don't seem to have the pace.
Yeah, that's very true, and I might be ending this race with a bit of a language, because this has just been overall a good race. Just I don't know why it makes me want to feel like I want to swear, but it's just too good. Like when sometimes when it's too good, you just want to say like a swear word or something. I don't know why I feel like that.
That's okay. Well, I think the two Alpines are battling for position right now. I think Domel in the second Alpine is looking to get past his teammate here. Now, if I were Alpine, would this be well, actually, let me rephrase this question. Domel's just going to go for it. There are not going to be any team orders. I was going to say, is there going to be team orders? But Domel moves himself up into P1. And to be honest, that was a crucial move for Alpine. I wonder if that actually was team orders there. It kind of looks like Pelly kind of let him pass there. Or maybe it was just the power of the DRS. But it seems like Domel's got the better pace than Pelly at this time.
Yeah, that's very true. And overall, also, if you look a bit back, it's a battle for points here. Dan and Cartboy are all bunched up. McDutchface is starting to do what he did in Suzuka, just start and step forward onto the tracks. Like, he's just starting to do overtake, and he might do what he done in Suzuka, like I said, get a podium, like he done for the first time in Japan.
Yeah, he might be going for this. Who knows? Let's find out how this works out. I mean, he's on the soft compound tire, so he's going to be flying compared to Cartboy, I think. Those mediums is not really working out for the Ferrari driver at this time in today's race. We will find out more information in just a little bit. But Cartboy struggling a little bit. Here comes McDutchface looking for the move on the Ferrari driver. Also, by the way, Muffin and Michael do have penalties. They have 3-second time penalties, if I'm not mistaken, as Wayne's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, showing that those softs are really fast. Also, Clarky pit as well. Clarky came into the pits for the medium compound tires, down in P19 after starting P4 in the Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a difficult start for the Red Bull driver in today's race. But going up the field, looks like Stefano Gaming is looking for the move on hella high. 8,000 RPM right there as well. Here comes McLaren on hella high. Here comes 8,000 RPM trying to make the move as well. Ooh, super close to contact between the three drivers here. Stefano gets ahead, but it's now the battle between 8,000 and hella high. Haas versus Williams. A little bit of contact between the two. It looks like 8,000 gets ahead, but it looks like hella high is going to send it down the inside. Oh, and it's a little bit late from hella high. I do believe that was a little bit too late from the Haas driver there, but I think They're still going to continue on, but I wonder if 8,000 just has a little bit of wing damage there. But I think that was a little bit too much from Hella High.
Yeah, I think he over-tried it, in my opinion. Like, basically, I'm talking about he just pushed too much, and that's just caused him a couple of positions now that he's broken his front wing. And my voice is starting to get fuzzy again, so I won't be commentating as much for now, because I'm just trying to sort out my nose. So be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I think Hella High and 8,000 RPM. The contact that we had, is Carpo gets past Gadan. That battle continues on. Great to see that, of course. But I don't know exactly what went down there. Kind of, from my perspective, it kind of looks like Hella High went for a move that was just a little bit too late. But of course, maybe he just had to go for the move. It makes sense, to be honest. But look at this. We have a nice battle with Lights trying to make a move on Larson. Larson trying to make a move on McDutchface. Lights is going to send it on the Ferrari coming down into turn 11. Who's going to get the better line on here? I think it is Larson that gets the better line. Lights will try and go side by side with the Ferrari. They're both going to get DRS, I do believe. Let's find out. They're side by side coming down to this as Shabby and Zero trade positions. Giga Kubica and Michael trade positions, I do believe. Shabby and Zero going side by side through turn 13. We also have Stefano Gaming and 8,000 RPM battling their way. As well, also we have Gadan and Carp and McDutchface battling as well. Lassie and Lights also battling. This is great action between all these drivers out on the grid today as the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri go side by side. Lights loses the car just a little bit, and he has to drop back a little bit, but he didn't lose the position. Thankfully, he only lost just a little bit of time there, so thank goodness there. So back up in the front, it looks like we got Giga Kubica and Michael continuing their battle, but also they catched up to the Alpines now. Domel and Pelli still leading this Grand Prix, but it's now a four-way fight for the race lead here today in the United States. Shabby now up to 5th place. Shabby absolutely flying through the field. He's been on a lot of form today, as that is the Williams of 8,000 RPM spinning off at turn 1. I wonder if there was contact with the driver there, or that was just a spin for the Williams driver. Not entirely sure about that. But 8,000 RPM is down to P14. Unfortunate to see that, but that is the way it goes. But we have a nice battle between Lassie Larson and Gadan. Gadan right ahead. Larson up to P11. Lights got, now he's going to make the move on Muffin. Muffin got overtook Lights, but now Lights is going to make the move on Muffin. Muffin's going to fight this one back, though. The Red Bull and the AlphaTauri go side by side. Lights is up onto P12 now. Was in P13, now up to 12th place. Great to see that from the AlphaTauri, as we have Michael and Giga Kubica battling it out as well. They're side by side, possibly coming down into turn 13 now. Giga Kubica going for the switchback maneuver on the Alfa Romeo driver. Is he going to try and send it? Michael's defending the inside line, so Giga Kubica cannot make the move. Michael now into P3. I'm starting to get the impression that the mediums are starting to become a faster tire. You can see drivers starting to have those tires warmed up just a little bit more than what they have liked before. Of course, the tires weren't the best earlier on, but now they seem to be better than before. So great to see that. That's great news for all the medium compound runners. Kind of bad news for all the soft runners, as they're going to come under pressure from all the medium compound runners. So great to see how that has all worked out, but that means that Michael and pretty much everyone else on the mediums is going to start chasing after these drivers, and particularly right now, Michael is going to start chasing after those two Alpines who are leading the Grand Prix.
Yes, and my nose is a bit better now, but it should get into trouble probably later soon, as the two AlphaTauris are now going to fight as we were currently speaking. As it goes into the S's in the middle. Hopefully he does not. Okay, so it will be a bit of a risk to take those curbs sometimes, because you never know what's going to happen. Spin or survival, both can happen.
Yes, absolutely. I think it is a very difficult corner to get right through the S's, but yeah, it's just they'll have to continue on and see how it goes. You know, it looks like it's pretty good for those two drivers. They made the corner fine, and now they'll continue on. It looks like Lights is now trying to make the move on Lassie Larson now for P10 in today's race. Of course, he is on the medium compound tire, so he's going to be starting to have more pace in the soft runners, particularly Larson and McDutchface. So we'll see how this all works out. As Larson loses the car just a little bit, saves it onto the exit of that corner. It is a very difficult corner to put the power on, but thankfully Larson saves it. But Lights and Larson both had a little bit of traction issues through that turn 15, if I'm not mistaken. Thankfully they kept it on track, so all good there. Michael right on the back of coming down into turn 1. He's using ERS. He's going to try and go for it on one of the Alpines. Here he comes. Michael, the driver that started on pole position, is now against the driver that started second place in today's race. Pelly down into P3 now. Michael up into second place now. The Alfa Romeo moves himself up into P2 and splits the 2 Alpine in today's race. Michael is now going to start chasing after the driver that is in P1. He wants to retake the lead of this Grand Prix from where he first started this race.
Yes, he really is now trying to push up and try and make a move on his rivals and hopefully get one. Get at least a good position. Because currently he has dropped 1 position, which is P1 of course, which Pelly was starting instead of his teammate. So overall now, as the mediums are starting to be a bigger threat to the softs, everyone will be going into the pits. I mean that's what I believe. Because Clarky's done it, Hella High's done it, and then someone else has done it. I think that is, Wayne changed to the softs.
Yes, I do believe so. Yeah, a few drivers have come into the pit lane to fresh set of mediums. Now, the interesting thing with strategy here is that drivers have the choice to go from the softs to the hards, or they could try and go soft medium and make sure they last these tires for a long while. As Domel is into the pit lane, the race leader comes into the pits quite early, I'd say, but he's probably going to pit for the medium compound tires, and this is where it goes back to what I was saying earlier on with the soft and the mediums, as that is Stefano Gaming. That is spun off at the final 2 corners, I do believe. He now comes into the pit lane, but has a lot of damage on his car. Meanwhile, Domel comes into the pit lane for the hard compound tires. He's going quite late, to be honest, on the hard tires, as that is Michael. Michael has, I do believe, spun it, or something happened there, but the Alfa Romeo, I do believe, has damage now. He was in the race lead. Something happened to Michael. Did you see what happened?
I did not either. I was just looking at Stefano until I looked at you. He does not seem to have any damage, so I think it was just a off-brand little spin, maybe a bit of a spinala.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I think that's what happened there to the Alfa Romeo driver. Unfortunate to see it, of course, because he was in the race lead. He still has a good chance of trying to take it against the other runners in today's race, but he has to be warned because Shabby and Zero are now right behind them. So right behind Michael is Shabby and CPI Zero. So this could be very interesting here. I think Zero and Shabby will now try and get past Michael here. We could see these 3 drivers going for the win here, because the thing is that these 3 have already been rumored, of course, to battle for the race win, because they're all on the similar tire compound. So I think they'll be trying to make the move as Michael goes very wide, and that is him off the track. Something happened to Michael there. Shabby and CPI Zero now move up into P3 and P4. Michael now comes into the pit lane. I think he has damage, but just a slight amount of damage, as he gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings in the pit lane. How is that possible?
It's probably just a glitch.
It must be. I mean, Michael's got that 3-second though now because of the pit lane. I don't know. That's really weird. Did he cut the pit lane like a lot? I don't think there's a way to cut the pit lane, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, if you're going in, like you're leaving the pit lane and then you immediately turn in, that will count as a penalty.
Yeah, I do believe that is what's happened, actually. It's unfortunate to see that, but that's the way it goes, in racing. Yeah, all we're going to have to do is hope for the best for Michael and see what he can do.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's already starting to be a fight for P1 here. I think you should get into the mix, as Giga Kubica going to go side by side with Pelly. Down the inside, he's got it amazingly there. And now you can carry on with what you're saying. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Go right ahead. Continue on with what you're saying there.
No, I've finished. See now.
Okay. Well, Giga Kubika is now into P1. Great move by him, I gotta say. I mean, like, that was brilliant. Thank you so much for letting me know about that that awesome battle that we just had for P1. Giga Kubika now moves up into the race lead of the United States Grand Prix. Haas now leads at their home Grand Prix. Even though they have the Russian sponsors, they are an American team. From North Carolina still. They are the original Haas team, and Haas will continue on as the American team in Formula 1. And to be honest, I really am voting for them to get some good results in real F1, as they are an American team, and I want to support them since I am American, so.
Yeah, that's fair enough, to be honest. As we now skydive into the pack, the man I was talking about from Suzuka, Mick Dutchface, is now trying to catch up to Larson, and it currently looks like he's going to try and eye up a move. The gap is not as close as it was as I saw, but still a fight should be shaping up anytime soon.
Yeah, you're right. I think McDutchface is on a roll right now. He is chasing after Larson in that Ferrari. I think McDutchface will be looking to make the move on the Ferrari as soon as possible. We will find out how that works out, if the Aston Martin will be able to make a move on the Ferrari. It's just time will tell. You know, he is gaining time, but the problem is that those tires are going to start degrading quite a lot. But the good thing for him is that Larson also has the exact same problem. They are both on the same amount of tire wear. So I think those softs are going to be getting into the puncture territory in the next 2 laps or so. And to be honest, right, even now, I bet you those tires are screaming at the driver, telling them, come into the pit lane. Please come into the pit lane. I just want to get off. I want to get off the car, and you should put on the medium compound tires. They're not actually saying that, but why not? I wanted to say that. But yeah, those softs are screaming right now. They are telling that Aston Martin driver to take them off and put on the mediums or the hards or some other tire, because they are going to be in the puncture territory at this stage right now. And as we're talking about it, to the drivers that were on those softs that are absolutely just on they're about to pop at any stage, really. I've now come into the pit lane for the mediums. So that just proves that the softs are in the puncture territory, I would say. So Larson and McDutchface have to be careful that those tires don't puncture. You know, that, of course, is the goal here. So what they need to do is stay off the curbs and make sure they go in higher gears and conserve those tires as much as possible. That's what needs to happen right here, so they don't get a puncture on one of these tires here.
The thing is, McDutchface is usually riding those curves into the S's, which is a bit of a mistake, and you can tell those tyres are really now starting to scream for help, because he's already starting to lose the back end.
Yes, he definitely is. I think those tires are done, to be honest. Look at Domel. He's now chasing after the Aston Martin and the Ferrari now, so I think you are absolutely correct. Because McDutchface and Larson and all these other drivers that are on those tires, because they're using the curbs, because technically you actually have to, as here comes Domel on the Aston. He's going to move himself up into P6 now. But because these drivers having to use a lot of curbs on this track, these tires are just going to degrade. And that's another point to mention, viewers, is that the reason why this, one of the reasons why this track, the tires degrade so much is because of the curbs itself. Also, the elevation changes is another reason, and there's a few other reasons as well, but a big factor into why the tires degrade so much is because these drivers are on the curbs at pretty much every single moment in the race, because there's so many curbs, especially in the first sector. There's a lot of curbs you have to hit, and also the third sector as well. You have a lot of curbs that you have to hit as well, so it is a very difficult track to get right in terms of tire wear. But Larson and McDutchface finally come into the pit lane on 13 lap-old soft tires. That is absolutely incredible that they kept those going, but they have come into the pit lane for the mediums, and that could be a really smart move by both of them.
Yes, because now, if Shabby can get mediums for 16 laps, then Larson and McDutchface can just run these mediums to the end.
Yes, they can. The one thing is, though, is that if Shabby comes out right behind them, or like, I don't know, maybe like 8 seconds behind them, he's going to be on the fresher compound tires. He's going to be on the softs most likely, and he's going to start pressurizing those two drivers. But the thing is that because those two drivers did pit, and you just mentioned this too, they're going to start chasing after these guys, and they might already have enough gap So when Shabby and Zero and Cartboy and Lights all come into the pit lane and most likely will be behind, I think it will be too late. I think those drivers that pit now onto the medium compound tires, I think they'll have enough gap to finish in where they are in the race. But of course, anything can happen in league racing. We've had safety cars that could happen. Weather could come into play as well. It doesn't look like there's going to be any rain or anything like that, as it looks like a clear day here today in F1's United States Grand Prix. But safety cars could come out anytime. We haven't seen one yet, but it is possible that we could see a full course safety car.
It can happen. As Zero just pulled us out to the right, I believe that is, and that'll be P1 for the Williams, and that's a great day in the office because for Williams, because of that sad tragedy of course, Sir Frank Williams. And Zero now needs to lead this team into greatness for this race, like he'd done in the past couple of races. He needs to repeat that. Needs to repeat that for the next races, so he can secure himself a good day after that. Well, I'll repeat it again: the tragedy of Sir Frank Williams.
Yes, I think Williams need a good result today. I think it'd be great to see a Williams on top, especially after that news, of course. And this would also be good for Zero. Of course, he is battling Shabby for that championship, so they will continue their battle. But it's not over yet, as Shabby's going down the inside on the Williams driver. Is Shabby going to fight this one? I think he's definitely going to try it. These two will have their battle continue on. Zero, of course, going for that world championship. Shabby still going for the world championship as well. Josh and Lights in that one as well. Lights only 3 seconds behind Cartboy in today's race, so he's going to be starting to chase after those guys as well. But currently, Shabby 2K and Zero will be continuing their battle in today's race.
Yes, and those tyres looking kind of familiar, like if they're, because there's like a little, if you look on the mediums of Shabby, there's like a little line, and that little line says that the tyres are literally like over like at least 60% tyre wear, or like 60 to 50% tyre wear. So it will be time to pit for these lot in the foot, and that's Michael out. That'll be no points.
Oh!
Once again, I think for Alfa Romeo, unless Wayne can pull something out of the hat. But overall,
that is huge.
Yeah, I mean that's just. Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just commenting on what you're saying there.
That's just gonna push back Michael and Alfa Romeo in the championship. Like I'll say again, unless Wayne can pull something back out of the hat, because if he doesn't, it will be over. As Shabby's now going to make a move on Zero down the straight. How many overtakes have I seen on this straight? Probably 5 million.
I think we've seen a lot of overtakes on that straight. It's been a race to remember in terms of overtakes on turn 12. There goes Zero down the inside on Shabby, and that was a late move, but it looks to work out. But Shabby's going to continue the battle with the Williams driver, and I think the Mercedes will just about get ahead. This is great battling going on between the two drivers. Shabby leaves the door on the outside, but then covers it against Zero, and this battle will continue on for ages now. Zero comes into the pit lane. He's going for the undercut strategy here. Zero into the pits. Very interesting. He has gone for the undercut strategy there. Zero comes into the pit lane most likely for the soft compound tires, and that's very surprising. But what's even more surprising is that Michael's out of the race. That is very surprising because also he has retired in the pit lane. It was not an accident out on track. He retired in the pit lane, so that was intentional. So maybe he had to go somewhere or something like that, but that's going to be really hurting Michael as he started pole position in today's race and now won't finish the race. Unfortunate to see the Alfa Romeo driver out of today's United States Grand Prix.
Yes, and I was really hoping for him to actually pull out some points. But overall, it just turned out to be a bit of a bad one, and he had to, I think, go. I'm pretty sure he had to go. So overall, that's just pretty much bad luck. They had to go. I'm not saying that it's bad to go in the middle of a league race, it's just bad luck.
Yep, unfortunate to see that, of course, but yeah, I'm sure Michael will move on to the next one, and we'll see his pace continue. He has a lot of pace in league racing. I've seen it many times, and not just this league, but many different leagues that he's in. He has been an astonishing driver, and we'll see him return at the next one in Mexico, I'm assuming. So we'll see how that all works out. Covering another driver that we should most likely talk about, Lights in the AlphaTauri. Sits currently P7 with a 7-second gap to our driver that was leading the Grand Prix, Zero, who is now in P6 now, but Lights 7 seconds behind, sitting in 7th. He's got a 2.5-second gap to Larson. He's on the soft compound tires. He's going to be flying compared to Larson, but Lights could be in for a possible podium in today's race. We will find out how that all works out. But now this is where the strategy game is coming into play. Shabby 2K into the pit lane. The question is, where will Zero come out? Will he come out behind, or will he come out ahead? Let us find out.
It will be Ed. He's just done it. The undercut strategy has worked it, and I think they're going to go soft to the end or something.
Oh, most likely. I think Zero and Shabby will go to the end. And but the problem is for Zero is that he does have a 6-second time penalty, so he has to pull out 6 seconds on Shabby. So right now he's got a 3.3-second gap to the Mercedes driver, but he has to pull out a further 3 seconds to win this Grand Prix. So this is going to be a big ask for the Williams driver. But he can do it. We will find out how that all works out. Another thing we should probably mention is that now that these drivers have pit for the softs, we've gotten to that point now where, like we mentioned earlier on, the drivers that pit for the mediums around lap 10 have not gotten to the point where they're leading the Grand Prix, potentially. But they're going to have the soft runners starting to catch after, and to be honest, that gap is not very big between Pele and Zero. I think Zero might be able to overtake these three.
Yes, it can be possible, and if he's got the speed and pace, he's going to smash it with flying colours.
Oh, definitely. I think the Williams driver will be flying through the field. He's already got a 1.8-second gap to Pele. I think that's showing his pace right now. The Williams absolutely flying. You can see the Alpine just ahead now. I think he should catch Pele in the next, I'd say, maybe at the end of this lap.
Yeah, I agree with you about that one. So probably it's going to be a bit of a chaotic one. But overall, it's just going to be a good race, to be honest. Clean racing.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, I think we'll get a great one here today. Great end to the Grand Prix. We still got a lot of action to bring in. Zero and Lights just traded the fastest laps. Shabby's now on his first official lap on the soft compound tires now. He is going to be going for the fastest lap as well. Most likely it will be purple through the first sector unless he can't beat Zero's. Oh, it is purple. Okay, so it is purple for Shabby. He's absolutely obliterating the first sector here. He is flying through the field right now. He now has a 2.5-second gap to Zero. We could see Shabby win this Grand Prix. It's going to be really tight, though. And as you said, I think we're going to a few more chaotic things happen. We could see some safety cars coming out. And also another driver we should keep an eye on as well is Cartboy, who is at the end of the straight now leading the Grand Prix. He still has to pit in this race. So as of now, Giga Kubica will be leading the Grand Prix.
Yay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, congrats to him. I mean, he's going to have to hold back a lot of drivers, though. That is going to be tough for him. Domel is battling for P1 in this race. I mean, once Cartboy does pit, Giga Kubica will get up into P1, and then Domel will be P2, but Giga Kubica has to hold back Domel. And then he's also got ZPI Zero, Lights, Shabby, all flying as well. Cartboy will most likely join those guys as well. So it's going to be really tight. But right now, I think our closest battle is Zero. He is now catched up to Pele, so like I did mention, he would catch up at the end of that lap. And so now Zero is right in the back as Pele, as Shabby predictably sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, as now he's got that gap down to less than 2 seconds. That is pretty incredible.
Yes, that is pretty incredible. And now all Shabby needs is just to have good race to finish it off, and actually overcome that undercut strategy from Zero and overtake Zero. That would be pretty interesting. Do you think that would be interesting?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really entertaining as well. We're going to see a amazing battle there. Speaking of battles, we have Zero going down the inside on Pelly. There we go. Zero up into P4 now. He's got the move on his rival. But yeah, to answer your question there, I think it's going to be extremely interesting, entertaining, and it's going to be an incredible battle that we're going to witness. It's going to be pretty incredible. We'll see how it all works out.
Yes. And I think it's going to be pretty tough, because these two drivers have talent, they know how to drive well, and they'll just have the precision of getting P1 and determination to get P1, which Carboy is currently having. 18 lap mediums, of course they're going to pop any minute now, because I mean it's almost been 20. He has not done a pit stop yet. Not even a singular pit stop. Yeah,
I'm surprised, to be honest, that he hasn't. I mean, I think I have to agree with you. I think he'd be really struggling on those mediums. As here comes Shabby. He has the space. He's going to go for it, and he moves himself up into P5. But yeah, to answer your question there, I think Cartboy, his tires are absolutely done, to be honest. They are 19-lap-old medium compound tires. I think they're in puncture territory right now. What's your thoughts on that?
100%. They are on puncture territory. They're about, like, in my opinion, like 70 to 80% tire wear. And if he clips those curbs too much, he will get a puncture. 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh. Yeah.
What were you saying?
He should be pitting anytime soon. That's what I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Gotta agree with you on that. I think Cartboy most likely will come into the pit lane on this lap, because look where Domel is. He's now 1.2 seconds behind. If Cartboy stays out for another lap, Cartboy will become under pressure from Domel, and then he'll just lose so much time.
Yeah, and that's really going to cost them. I don't think that's going to be good enough. I think they'll have to do at least something to fight up against it.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it'll be tough. We'll see how this works out. Where is Cartboy? Is he going to come into the pit lane? Yes, he does. He finally does come into the pit lane. Domel will take the lead of the race. And now, look what we have on track. A four-way fight, possibly even five-way fight for the race lead. Giga Kubica and Domel lead the way. Shabby has now got past Zero and is now in third place. But now it's all about overtaking, guys. Get a snack, get something to enjoy yourself, you know, get some water or something like that. Get ready for the race, because we're going to get a lot of action on the next couple of laps. We're going to get so many overtakes, guys. It's going to be incredible what an end to the race is going to be. We're going to get a lot of overtakes. We're going to get a lot of action. So much is yet to come.
100%, with only 8 laps left to go and only a couple of corners. There's only like 160 corners left to turn, technically. There's something gonna happen. What's happened?
Yes, something happened to me. I just got like an error to the session. Sorry about that, viewers. I have no idea what's going on, but I got an error to the session. I'm not able to see anything right now. Give me a second here. I'm gonna quickly get that invite back.
Okay. As now, Shabby's now gonna fight the race leader, and Giga Kubits is gonna get into the mix as Zero goes down the inside on Giga Kubits. Sorry for that. Giga Kubits is now gonna drop back to P4, maybe even back to Pelly, and now it's just gonna, I think, turn into a four-way battle for now, unless Giga Kubits will drop back. Currently looking like just Zero and Shabby and Domel into the running orders for P1 here. As now Shabby is going to try and get one of his, I think, his first win in WCR, if that's true.
He's gotten a few wins before, but I think it will be his first win in a while, unless he didn't win Japan. Yeah, I think his last win in WCR was France, if I'm not mistaken, a long ways ago. Unless it was maybe Britain, I want to say. No, I think it was France. I think France was his last race win. in the league. I'm not exactly sure on that, though, so don't quote me on that. But he has won before, but it's just been a very long time since he has.
That's very, very understandable. So, overall, who do you think... And that's Shabby in P1. So it currently looks like...
Shabby has moved up.
Yeah, if Dumbledore backs off Zero, it's going to be Shabby with the win. But the thing is, Zero's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So he can just not get P1 anyway. So you never know.
Yeah, I think Zero is going to finish P2. I think he's going to be hopeful that he finishes in P2, just with all those penalties, unless Shabby gets another, like, 2 more penalties or something like that, which is unlikely at this time. Shabby doesn't get too many penalties, if I'm not mistaken. But Zero is going to start chasing after Domel now. And I think, yeah, he's going to be hopeful of getting a second place in today's race. Also, another driver I think is going to be looking to get a podium is Lights, who is now in P6. But he's going to start chasing after, he's right on the back of Pelly, to be honest. Then he's going to get after Kubica, and then maybe try and get past Domel. But he does have a penalty as well. So we'll see how that all works out.
Yes, and I really want Kubica to get a podium. I think that'll be the first Haas podium in WCR, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, WCR viewers, people that's watching the WCR streams, but I'm pretty sure that will be Haas's first podium in WCR.
Off of memory, I do believe you're correct. I don't believe Halahai has scored a podium this season. Unless I'm wrong, he may have scored a 3rd place somewhere, and I don't know where. Comment down below, guys, if you know the answer to that one. Off of memory, I do not know if Haas have scored a podium. So I think you are right there. I think it will be Haas's first podium, if I'm not mistaken, this season.
Yes, they have got P4. They have got a P4 before. I'm just viewing here. Championship. So far, no podiums have been found. Yep, no podium in Dutch, Italian, no. Russian, no, because I commentated that. Italian, no. Singapore.
Oh, full course safety car. Full course safety car has just been deployed. This is huge. Huge final. This has actually happened, guys. A full course safety car. Shabby's actually missed the pit lane here. Shabby's missed the pit lane. So that means everyone's going to come into the pit lane. Shabby will stay out. This is madness here on lap 23. Sorry to interrupt you what you're saying there, but a full course safety car has been deployed because Clarkey's out of the Grand Prix at the Sector 1 section of the track. But this has bunched up all of the field now as chaos now happens here on the streets of Texas here in the United States Grand Prix.
Yep, and Haas have not got a podium, I think, in this season. They might have got it in a different season, but all I know is this season they have not. This might, and also this safety car can mix up everything. Carboy might even get try to have a shot at the podium. You never know. Unless penalties do him dirty. Let's just check it out. It's 6 seconds. Does not look likely.
And Zero has 9 seconds now. He also picked up another penalty somewhere. So, yeah, I think what we can determine from this is that Carboy and Zero won't be finishing on the podium. It might be Shabby P1, Domel P2, Giga Kubica P3, and to be honest, it might be even Shabby losing out on a podium as well because he's got 6-lap-old soft tires where everyone else is on fresh new softs. Shabby could be losing the win, possibly, to Domel. Domel could be winning this Grand Prix at the end of this. Even Giga Kubica, this is going to be madness at the end of this race. Who will round up on the top step of the podium? We're just going to have to find out.
Yes, it can be a bit of chaos, and it will take time, I think, this safety car. Because there's, like, an Aston Martin, Villeneuve is all the way at the start-finish straight. So it will take him time to catch up to the queue. I don't think the safety car would care about him. I know it'd be a bit harsh, but it will take him some time.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. I think Villeneuve is pitting now. He's going to come out in P17 ahead of the safety car. But I do believe it, I mean, even though he's quite a ways behind, he probably won't catch up to the safety car for the next 2 laps just because of how close he is to that safety car on track. I think the safety car should be able to come in at the end of this lap. Worst case scenario, it will stay out for 2 more laps. But I don't think that's the case. We will find out how this all works out. But just 3 or 4 laps remain of this Grand Prix here today in the United States Grand Prix. It's been a truly enjoyable race. Gotta say, DCNet Gaming, it's been a pleasure to commentate with you. Can't wait for the future commentary that we are going to be doing. And yeah, let's get this race underway once the safety car goes in.
Yes, but I mean, it will take I think we're going to get underway on the penultimate lap. Unless Villeneuve can catch up as quick as possible. And McDutch race out of the points. That's also pretty shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually, to be honest. It is since he's got that podium last time out in Suzuka. Also, 2 other drivers that I think it's quite surprising to see them out of the points as well as Hella High and Stefano Gaming, who are usually battling for the top 5 in races. They're down in P12 and P13, which is, it's not been the best races for those 3, I gotta say. But hopefully they'll be able to score some points in today's race.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, we'll see how this all works out. It's going to be a very interesting Grand Prix. We will find out if the safety car goes in this lap. Once the graphic comes up on our screen, we will see. But until then, guys, just want to say thank you so much for all our viewers joining us in the live streams. You guys have been absolutely incredible. I saw a few comments that came in. I saw a lot of viewers that were on the stream as well. So just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And subscribe to catch up on the rest of the action that's coming here on the WCR YouTube channel. If you're watching the other channels that we're streaming on as well, subscribe, follow whatever platform you're on, either Twitch or YouTube, subscribe or follow, do that so you guys can catch up on the future content that is to come on those channels. But if you guys are also enjoying the stream, make sure to like the stream as well. If you're enjoying our commentary on the action here today in WCR, this has been the Diamond Class race here for round 18 of the Season 5 Championship event in Season 5 in 2021. Just a few rounds remain of this epic championship that we have had throughout 2021. And DCNet Gaming's prediction of the safety car going in on the penultimate lap of this race is exactly true. It is going to go in on the penultimate lap of this race. We are going to get 1 more lap of the safety car, and then we'll have 2 laps of racing here at the United States Grand Prix. It's going to be an epic end to this race here in Austin, Texas.
Yes, it can be a bit mixed up after this one. Surely it's not going to go into too much chaos, because otherwise that's just going to go boom boom.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think there's going to be a lot of action at the start. Turn 1 might be a little bit of chaos, to be honest. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think Shabby, he does a great job of exiting that safety car, so he should be able to get a good exit off of Cartboy. But the thing is that he is on older tires than anyone else on the grid. He is on the oldest tires on the grid, so he could be in a situation where those tires just don't last very long, and he's going to get degradation. He's going to get a lot of wheel spin, effectively problems with the tires. And so that means that we could see other drivers like Cartboy, Zero, Domel trying to chase after Shabby with the faster tires, but will it be enough? No DRS. We're going to get old-fashioned racing of no DRS, just drivers passing each other without assistance from the drag reduction system. So we'll see how that all works out, but the safety car is now coming in on this lap. We have got that graphic out on the screen now. You can see at the top of your screen for a moment there. Shabby 2K will weave back and forth to get the temperature in those tires, make sure he's ready to start this race, to restart the Grand Prix. We are now going to enter the penultimate round of the penultimate race lap of the United States Grand Prix. We're going to get 27 and 28, lap 27, lap 28, 2 more laps of this race of racing here today in the U.S. Grand Prix, and it's going to be very, very exciting to see who ends up on top.
Yes, it's going to be pretty interesting. Does not look like Cartboy. Okay. Ooh. That's just looking pretty interesting. Only a couple of drivers have been... What's going on here?
5-second penalties for a lot of drivers. They're not exactly sure. More 5-second penalties as the safety car is now underway. Shabby leads us away, coming out of the final corners. We get an excellent shot of that as well. Cartboy doesn't have a lot of a gap, but here comes Domel on CPI 0. Down the inside goes the Alpine on the Williams. They're fighting it, but Domel gets up into P3. What a move that was. Here comes Giga Kubica. Now on CPI 0 is not the best start for the Williams driver. And neither for his teammate as well. With 8,000 RPM, got a 5-second penalty, as we were mentioning earlier on. We will find out what happens there. But up at the front, Shabby leads us away by 0.5 of a second to Cartboy. In now P2. Domel in the Alpine has now moved up into P3. He could be challenging Cartboy for P2, and then could be going for the race lead with Shabby, because they don't have penalties right now. So currently, it will finish with Shabby on top, Domel in P2, and Giga Kubica in P3.
Yeah, that is pretty shocking, as Giga Kubica is actually fighting with Zero. They go side by side down the straight. Zero just about gets P4, just in the middle of the straight. That's a pretty unexpected move, but you never know, as Carboy goes P1 as well. But Pelly's fighting with Giga Kubica. Giga Kubica's podium hopes might be over here, unless Pelly gets a penalty as he goes around the outside.
Oh, Domel and Shabby make contact. They're side by side. Sorry to interrupt you there, but this is for the race lead. Domel might just about get ahead of Shabby here. There's a little bit of contact, I do believe, but Domel moves himself up into P1 or P2, but there's crash. There's a crash between the two of them. The two race leaders have collided on the last lap of the Grand Prix. What chaos here. This is absolutely chaos. On the final lap of the Grand Prix, the two have collided. The two race leaders, Domel and Shabby, were P1 and P2 and now have collided. This is absolutely a chaos and drama on the final lap of the WCR United States Grand Prix, and as it stands, Giga Kubica will win the race.
It is absolutely shocking. I've never seen that. Two leaders fighting for the race win, and they collide into each other. It's happened before, but it's just sometimes unexpected. At moments you don't discover it at most.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This has changed everything here. I know, I mean, like, to be honest, I haven't seen that too often either. But that has happened. That's super unfortunate for the both of them there. And that's going to really affect their end result in today's race. Here comes Zero for the race lead, but these two aren't really battling for the race lead. As it stands, Giga Kubica will finish in P1, Pelly in P2, and Lights in P3. And since I know you're Polish, and Kubica is a Polish driver, do you want to do the victory celebrations with Kubica? Do you want to
yes.
Commentate over that?
Yes, please.
Do it. Let's do it.
Alright, Kubica now gonna exit the horseshoe around the final two corners. And it's gonna be Kubica's day around the final corner. He's gonna cross the line and win the Austin Grand Prix. It is absolute jubilation, because it's Haas's, I think, first win in WCR, I think, from every single season. First podium in in a long time. And it will be a Haas absolute celebration. They're gonna go popping off the Haas esports team. If they ever watch this, they'd be going crazy of this. And finally, one of the main drivers in Alfa Romeo will now get points. Wayne comes from last place to P7. That is my driver of the day right there. Who is your driver of the day?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of guys out on track that have impressed me quite a bit, but I gotta say, Giga Kubica did an amazing job there. He just scored the win for Haas F1 team, and also the home win for the team as well. This is Haas's home Grand Prix, and they have scored the win. Mad stuff that has just happened here. Amazing from the Haas team. Amazing from Giga Kubica as well. Congrats to the Alpine team as well. They grab a podium with Pelly in P2, who started P2, of course, and also Lights on the podium as well. After he was P14 at the back of the field, if I'm not mistaken, he now finishes on the podium. I think he'll be happy with that one. He's going to score the most points out of his rivals in terms of the championship as well. But I gotta say, what an end to that Grand Prix. What a finishing order to the United States Grand Prix. Absolute chaos here today at the final lap between the two race leaders. But wow, absolutely incredible stuff. A brilliant race here in the US.
Yes, and I think if you want to, we can do some press conferences. I've just asked Lights. If we can do press conferences. Let me quickly at him.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think that's something we're gonna have to discuss with Lights later, since I think that's something that's not really. I don't know if he wants to do that or not.
I've done it for Japan. He says yes.
Oh, you did it for Japan.
Yes.
Oh.
Who got podium? Shabby, Pelly, and Lights.
Yeah, Giga Kubika, Pelly, and Lights. Yep. Do you think you can invite all three of them to the party?
Hold on, I just need to.
And you can check back at the stream and make sure you can get them in. That would be great if you can do that. So yeah, we can try and get all three drivers in. To be honest, I've actually never really done this in terms of the press conferences, the end of the Grand Prix, the post race interviews. But I'd love to try it. Let's see how this all works out. Never done it in the league. But
Okay,
we'll
Pelly
see
can
how
do
it.
Lights can do it. It's just Pelly can do it. Lights can do it. We just need to wait for Giga Kubica.
Okay, so yeah, we can see if we can get all of them in. If you can, yeah, just invite.
Kubica's typing. If you can bear my English, sure. Yeah, I just need to Giga Kubica. Add Giga. I've added Giga. Wait. Hold on. I just need to wait. I just need to get Lights in. Not CPI Young Lights. There you go.
And guys, while we're waiting for Lights, Pelly, and Giga Kubica, if you guys can, could you make sure that your voices are being shared on YouTube?
Okay. I think that I already enabled that option.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect. Okay. Great to hear. Thanks, guys. And there is Lights. Awesome. So and Lights, I just told the other two. Do you think you can check and see if your voice is being shared on YouTube? Perfect. Okay. So I think we are ready to go. DC, now are we ready to go?
Yes, we're gonna start off with Giga Kubica, of course. So, is it okay you can kick off with questions? Because I just need to sort out some bits.
Yep, will do. I will start off. So let's start off with the driver that finished in first place in an amazing race here in World Championship Racing Diamond class. Let's start off with Giga Kubica. So, gotta say, brilliant job you have done in today's race. An amazing job for the team as well. Haas's first win, I gotta say, this season, if I'm not mistaken. Also at the home Grand Prix as well for the Haas team. How are you feeling after that one in a crazy United States Grand Prix? Were you expecting to win that one? Just give us all your thoughts on that race.
Thank you very much. Well, I was definitely not expecting that, because I saw right from the first qualifying session that there were amazing, incredibly fast drivers up in front. And yeah, but the troubles started in qualifying 2, as I was checking my phone and apparently it started to rain out of nowhere. So I had to put on the soft compound tire and hope to, make it to the line and set a decent enough lap for top 10. But yeah, in the end, it was kind of good for me, because it allowed me to start on the soft tire, which in the end proved decisive, because going into the first section of lap 1, I was in third. Then I just tried to avoid any corner cut, any sort of trouble as well, because this is one of the probably among the top 3 tracks where you have to be very careful with the track limits. And then yeah, until the end of the race I was pretty happy. Decent, very happy, because I thought the podium was possible. And then the safety car came in the last 5 laps, if I remember correctly, lap 22 or 23. And then I had to pit, because I was lucky enough to be that far back. Instead, the guy in P1 was not that lucky and had to go on. And so yeah, the last 2 laps were a bit chaotic. I tried to stay out of trouble as much as I could, but also I had to defend my position, because everybody was trying to maximize what was available. Understandable, totally reasonable. And yeah, in the end I got extremely lucky, because the guy fighting for P1, the only guys that didn't have any penalty, collided. I'm sorry for them. They were conducting a spectacular race. But yeah, that's that. I came to the line, no penalties. Very happy about that, and that's that. Thank you guys again for the compliments.
Yeah, you did a brilliant job in today's race. Just incredible work for just an amazing job. I gotta say, I really have no words, because it's just the excitement at the end of the race was incredible, and just to see you come out on top was pretty impressive, man. You did a great job today. Another thing that I was going to mention as well, and you mentioned it as well, that you were one of the only drivers to not get a penalty on a track, like you mentioned, is known for getting penalties, because of how difficult it is to drive, especially through the first sector, and getting penalties. So yeah, you did a brilliant job today, and yeah, can't wait what you can do in the future. Excited to see what you can do. But yeah, just want to say congrats on that one. Congrats on the win. And look forward to see you in the future showing your best out on track. Before we go, and before you go, Disna, did you have any questions for Giga Kubica before we let him move on with his day?
Also, thank you very much for winning it for me, because I literally felt like there'd been no one representing Polish people and the Polish memes, because I did not expect the only one I was expecting, someone's supposed to, I was like, someone had to use the Kubica one time. And I'm like, when you used it, I was like, hallelujah, I've been blessed. And I was like, bring it home for Poland. I know you're not Polish, but because you've got Kubica in the name. Yes, so thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you'll have a nice one in your next race you're gonna participate in. You're welcome.
today's race, I gotta say. Pelly, welcome to the Commons booth here today. You finished second place in today's race. What an incredible job you did today as well. You started P2. You were able to just put on an incredible performance. You were all the way there throughout the entire race, battling for the podium. Did you expect a P2, and are you happy with this incredible result in today's United States Grand Prix?
Yeah, hello guys. Yeah, I am happy. I didn't expect to be, fighting for the podium, but yeah, I'm happy because like this is my first time I finished in WCR since I joined, and immediately I got a podium when I finished. So yeah, I'm quite happy, and but I didn't expect it because there were a lot of fast people, and I got help by people like those two who crashed out. So, but yeah, the race was quite difficult. I have to say. Early, like the first two laps were fine, but then I started to overheat my front, so the corners had so much understeer, which cost me time. And then I saw my teammate pass, and then eventually Kubica passed me. And then I tried to stay behind Kubica, and then after we pitted, we pitted at the same time. On the mediums, I had struggled also a bit, and I also had I struggled with my fuel because like I had 0.3 minus, so I had to save fuel a lot. But then the safety came out, so that saved me too. And unfortunately, I got a penalty because I had only one warning before the safety car, and then with 2 laps to go, I got 2 warnings because I knew Kubica was like the only one with no penalty, so I had to try it on last lap something to get close to him. But then I got the third warning, and yeah. But then I'm still happy with 2, so yeah.
Yeah, you did an incredible job today. A brilliant performance for you and for the team as well. So congrats on that. You really do deserve the P2, and can't wait to what you can do in the future, and see what the performances will be like in the future. But just want to say congrats on P2, and hope you enjoyed that one.
Yeah, thanks, man. And thanks for commenting, you too.
Yeah, no problem. Disna, do you have any questions for our driver in second position in today's race?
Yes, I do. So basically, when you got that penalty, did you feel like you'd thought like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna get a podium until then? You got a safety car and you were blessed.
When I got the penalty on the last lap, I was still certain because I 0 at 9 seconds, and I think Cardboard had 6. So if I just managed to get close, I would still get the podium. And I also managed to get Lights behind me because he had the same amount of penalties. So if he would pass me, I would end up behind him. So that was the main thing, just to stay close to anyone in front of me. But I didn't worry that I wouldn't lose my podium.
Yeah, wow. I mean, incredible job by you today. Just
Thank
gotta,
you, man.
yeah, just gotta celebrate about that one. I bet you'll be celebrating that podium.
Yeah, I will watch the stream back later and enjoy it.
Oh, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. Well, we'll let you go and enjoy your rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one that you enter. So let's move on to our podium finisher in today's race. Lights in the AlphaTauri car. You had a really good race, I'd say, man. I mean, you were. I think what happened in the qualifying session was a little unfortunate. Of course, it didn't really work out for you in qualifying. In the race, it looked like you found those pace on the mediums and were able to just stretch those mediums long, and then you finished P3. So are you happy with your race, and what's your thoughts on that whole one? Yeah, it was brilliant. You know, it was great to commentate on that one, as it always is here in WCR. And a great race from you as well. I just have one more question for you, if you don't mind. And then I'll let Disna ask his question to you. So, the championship still has a few more rounds left. You are still in contention of the championship. You scored more points than your rivals, Shabby, Zero, and Josh, if I'm not mistaken, who wasn't able to make the race today. But what's your thoughts on that performance? And do you think now that you've got the better result in today's race, do you think that's going to push you further to be able to try and challenge for more results in the future races and continue that championship fight? Yeah, I think Mexico is going to be really fun, and I think you definitely got the pace to be able to do that. So yeah, good, best of luck to you on the next races, and hopefully you'll be in that fight for the championship, as you already are. But I have a good feeling that you'll be battling pretty close for the championship this season. So I'm going to pass the questions down to Disna Gaming. Disna, do you have any questions for our third place driver in today's United States Grand Prix?
Yes, I do. And overall, after you just survived by 0.3 of a second in Q2 to get yourself into Q3, how did you feel when you was like, phew, how did you feel when you literally just survived Q3 and then started P9 and then jumped up all the way to P3?
Yeah, it truly was. You did a great job today for the team, of course, and you'll keep that championship going. So we'll see how that all works out. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us in the commentary booth to everyone here. And yeah, just amazing races from all three of you guys, and can't wait to be seeing what you guys can do in the future. All right, so I think that is going to be the end of today's WCR Diamond Class stream here in the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. So, yeah, I think we're going to round this one off. So before we round it off, Disna, do you have any more thoughts on today's race and anything you want to say before we round this one off?
All I say was, well done to every single driver that participated. Some people will just have some bad races. For example, for Electric Envy somehow got DSQ'd. For I think Glitch, a couple people were glitching out. Well, for me, some people know. Internet has been amazing for me today. I've lagged out a couple times. But overall, with that aside, all I say was just an amazing race.
Yeah, it truly was. It definitely was an exciting one. Can't wait for the future Grand Prix that are going to be happening. So we're going to end this one off. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the live stream. Thank you to all the top three that joined us in the comments booth as well. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you all at the next one. Also, thank you to DCNet Gaming for joining me in the commentary booth. As always, it was great to commentate with you. Can't wait to be doing that on the future.
Yes, and we're gonna now go to the forgot what the full name was. I believe it was Hermano Rodriguez Autodromo something in Mexico, in the Mexico City. One that is starting to sink because it was consumed by a Mexico City was actually started on a lake and covered the lake, and now it's starting to sink. I think 3.3 meters deep every single year.
Oh, I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to do some research on that. I'll see exactly what's going on over there. But yeah, you are right. We'll be heading to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico City. We're heading to Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix Round 19 of that championship event. We will see you guys all there. But this has been the United States Grand Prix Round 18 of the Diamond Class Championship event in Season 5 2021. This is the racing in 2021. And yeah, as we did mention, we will see you all next time for the Mexican Grand Prix Round 19 of the Diamond Class event next Grand Prix. But that's it from us here today at WCR. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more WCR content. So definitely do that. Like this video if you enjoyed our commentary as well, if you enjoyed that thrilling Grand Prix as it always is. Subscribe to the Formula Jonah and Twitch and YouTube because we're streaming on there as well, and subscribe to the Disna channel as well, as we're streaming on all 3 channels as well. But we're going to end this one off. Thank you to all the viewers that joined us, and we'll see you all in the next one. I'm Formula Jonah, that's Disna Gaming, and we're signing off for now. See you all in the next one, guys. Peace out.
Peace out.